the voyage continues.
How are we gonna get out of this one?
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 Star Trek Beyond facts.
Space is disease and danger wrapped in darkness and silence.
Well, I hate to break this to you, but Starfleet operates in space.
For this list, we're taking a look at trivia and fun facts surrounding the third entry in the rebooted Star Trek series.
Unity is not your strength, it is your weakness.
Number 10, Justin Lin's first Sci-Fi directorial outing.
Typical.
After screenwriter Roberto Orci stepped down as the director for Star Trek Beyond, many directors were considered for his replacement. The job ultimately went to Justin Lin, who's best known for his work on the Fast and Furious franchise. Lin also has an impressive television background, directing episodes of True Detective and Community.
Hey, watch it, punk.
What are you, 80?
He's the one trying to bring back disco. I don't have to be old to know it's not gonna happen.
Star Trek Beyond will be his first sci-fi directorial effort, though. Since this is a new frontier for Lin, some fans are concerned that Beyond won't be a traditional Star Trek film. Of course, Star Trek is all about boldly going where no man has gone before, so we'll see where Lin takes us.
This is where the frontier pushes back.
Number 9, Sulu will be openly gay in Star Trek Beyond.
Oh my.
Shortly before the premiere of Star Trek Beyond, actor John Cho revealed that his character, Hikaru Sulu, would be openly gay. Ever since its inception, Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek has always been about overcoming cultural barriers, so the film's producers felt that this would be a step in a positive direction. It was also a nod to the original Sulu actor and LGBT activist, George Takei.
Your responsibility is to the Enterprise, not to us, is that clear?
Perfectly, sir.
Ironically, however, Takei has called the move really unfortunate, explaining that he feels it not only twists Roddenberry's original vision for the character, but also that Sulu's sudden change in sexuality might send a mixed message, leading some audiences to believe that sexuality is a choice. While fans are certainly split over the decision, Star Trek Beyond writer and star Simon Pegg feels that the film's low-key approach to the issue was still the right decision.
It wouldn't be the Enterprise without a Sulu at the helm.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sure Hikaru must be very proud of you.
I hope so.
Number 8, William Shatner won't return.
We make a difference.
Oh yes, we made a difference.
With Leonard Nimoy's return to Star Trek as Spock Prime, everyone started to wonder if William Shatner would make an appearance as Captain James T. Kirk. An earlier script for Star Trek Beyond reportedly would have brought the original Kirk back to the big screen.
Kirk. James T. Kirk.
This idea started to fizzle out, though, as Justin Lin took over Roberto Orci's directorial duties and new screenwriters were brought on board. Shatner has since confirmed that he will not make a cameo in Star Trek Beyond, but still expressed interest in reprising his career-defining role.
On my responsibility, we are proceeding into the neutral zone.
So maybe Shatner's Star Trek days aren't over quite yet. It's just a shame we'll never get to see him reunite with Nimoy, who tragically passed away in 2015. Number 7, Star Trek's 50th anniversary.
Space, the final frontier.
In 1966, an iconic sci-fi series hit the small screen and spawned a devoted cult following.
Definitely something out there, Captain. Headed this way.
Could be these meteoroids.
No, it's something else. There's still something out there.
5 decades later, Star Trek is still one of the most prominent franchises in popular culture. In celebration of this landmark, Paramount Pictures decided to release Star Trek Beyond to coincide with the 50th anniversary of Gene Roddenberry's creation of the original series.
You couldn't get even blacks on television, and I not only had a black, but a black woman and a black officer. And that'll show them.
In December 2014, it was announced that the film would come out on July 8, 2016. This release was later pushed back a couple of weeks to July 22nd. It's safe to say that Star Trek has lived long, and we only hope that it will continue to prosper.
Since my customary farewell would appear oddly self-serving, I shall simply say, good luck.
Number 6, Scotty gave the script more power.
He seemed to think that the range of transporting something like a grapefruit was limited to about 100 miles. I told him that I could not only beam a grapefruit from one planet to the adjacent planet in the same system, which is easy, by the way, I could do it with a life form.
If you've seen Paul, The World's End, or Spaced, you know that Simon Pegg adores sci-fi just as much as he loves comedy.
Gary.
Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome.
In addition to reprising his role as Scotty in Star Trek Beyond, the English actor also co-wrote the film's screenplay with Doug Young. The two were enlisted to rewrite the script after Paramount rejected Roberto Orci's draft, which was deemed too Star Trek-y, according to Peg. To reach a more mainstream audience, Peg says that they essentially decided to, quote, make a Western or thriller or heist movie, then populate that with Star Trek characters. Now, if we could only get Peg's buddy Nick Frost to join the Star Trek universe, preferably as Harry Mudd.
Harry Mudd. You're a liar and an outlaw and in deep trouble. I want navigational control restored, my ship released.
Sorry, that'd be against the law. My law.
Number 5, the mission's half over.
A 5-year mission, Spock? That's deep space. That's uncharted territory.
The latest Star Trek film will take place 2.5 years after the events of Star Trek Into Darkness. This means that the Starship Enterprise's 5-year mission is half over. Zachary Quinto believes that the 5-year mission will likely be an important factor in Star Trek Beyond, stating that, quote, we'll see some sense of evolution in these characters that's been building throughout the first few films.
Where should we go?
As a mission of this duration has never been attempted, I defer to your good judgment, Captain.
We're not entirely sure what Quinto might be hinting at here, however. Still, we're confident it will involve exploring strange new worlds, seeking out new life and new civilizations, and boldly go, you know the drill.
These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise.
Number 4, Star Trek meets Marvel.
You're captain now, Mr. Kirk.
In Star Trek Beyond, Idris Elba will play a villain known as Krall. Elba notably played Heimdall the Gatekeeper in Marvel's Thor films, and kicked ass at it.
Good handout.
You're not dressed warmly enough.
I'm sorry.
Do you think that you can deceive me?
This isn't the first time Star Trek and Marvel have crossed paths. Eric Bana, who once portrayed the Incredible Hulk, starred as Nero in J.J. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek reboot.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
Benedict Cumberbatch, who will make his MCU debut as Doctor Strange later this year, played Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness. Thus, every big bad guy in this reboot series has also been a Marvel hero. As if that's not enough to blow your mind, both Chris Hemsworth and Zoe Saldana have both played significant roles in these two franchises as well.
If you don't tell me your name, I'm gonna have to make one up.
It's Uhura.
Can we please get an official crossover? Yeah, probably not.
Fool. Should have learned.
I don't learn. One of my issues.
Number 3, the director, younger than the franchise.
That is such horseshit.
That was your job! Hey! Enough, O'Connor! If he said he didn't do it, he didn't do it. Go walk it off.
As we mentioned before, Star Trek has been around for a long time. As a matter of fact, the franchise is older than the director of Star Trek Beyond. Justin Lin was born in 1971, just a couple of years after the original Star Trek series ended in 1969.
Her life could have been as rich as any woman's. If only...
This makes Lin the first director of a Star Trek movie to be younger than the franchise. Even J.J. Abrams was born shortly before the first episode of Star Trek premiered in 1966.
No other specimen has shown your adaptability. You were our last hope.
It just goes to show what an enduring series Star Trek is, spanning several generations with no end in sight. Number 2, Anton Yelchin's death.
Russian whiz kid, what's your name, Chenko? Chirpov?
Ensign Chekhov, Pavel Andreevich, sir.
As the Enterprise's resident navigator Pavel Chekhov in the rebooted Star Trek world, Anton Yelchin won audiences over with his ability to inject humor into the franchise.
Ensign authorization code 95 Victor 2.
Authorization not recognized.
Ensign authorization code 95 Victor 2.
Access granted.
Sadly, on June 19, 2016, just over a month before Star Trek Beyond was set to premiere, Yelchin was killed when his Jeep Grand Cherokee rolled down his driveway and pinned him to a pillar outside his California home. Early reports connected the freak accident to a safety recall issued on his 2015 model Jeep. Some drivers complained that it was difficult to identify whether or not the vehicle was in park, increasing the risk that it would roll away. Out of respect, his fellow Star Trek actors canceled their appearance at the 2016 Cannes Film Festival, while tributes to the fallen star poured in from around the world. Before we get to our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Is that music?
It's a good choice.
Hey, well played.
We got no ship.
Now you're wondering just what it means to be you.
It isn't uncommon, you know. It's easy to get lost in the vastness of space.
Number 1. J.J. Abrams left Star Trek for Star Wars. Although J.J. Abrams' first 2 Star Trek movies received almost universal praise, there were a few purists that took issue with his direction. Some die-hard Trekkers felt Abrams' Star Trek was more in the tradition of Star Wars. This kinda made Abrams the perfect candidate to helm 2015's The Force Awakens.
Raider!
Since one man can only juggle so many blockbuster franchises, Abrams declined to direct Star Trek Beyond in favor of Episode 7. Nevertheless, Abrams stayed on as a producer, and his production company, Bad Robot, is still piloting the Star Trek franchise. Although Star Trek and Star Wars have divided fans for eons, Abrams has taught us that it's kind of okay to like both.
Oh, Cameron, you're alive? Buddy!
Do you agree with our list?
I like this thing.
What's your favorite Star Trek Beyond fact?
Okay, let's never do that again.
For more entertaining top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Take us out of orbit, Mr. Spock. Ahead, warp factor 1.
Acknowledged, Captain.